Hello and welcome to Christians in Politics here on RTM. I am William C. Luhu. Don't forget, RTM is the only station where you get the best of the best, the first of all kinds of entertainment, faith-based, and educative information. Welcome once again. Now, a recent view of things as we continue from our previous episodes, a recent view of things this year, 2025, you realize that so much has been happening. But then today, to go into the business of the day, I have us look at certain things from the eyes of the law. And to do that with me is one of our very own, within the commission, someone very special that you would love to meet with. And it's by name Dr. Emmanuel Ishi Johnson. Dr. Emmanuel Ishi Johnson is a lawyer, an investment and security consultant. He's also a real estate consultant. So if you need any of those, you know who to call. And today he's going to be talking to us from the perspective of the law, as touching every other thing we're going to be looking at this very day. So please stay tuned, don't go nowhere. If you have somebody, please call them, not to miss out on what is about to unfold. So welcome once again, Mr. Johnson, sir.
Thank you, Mr. William.
Thank you very much, sir. It's good to have you. We're so pleased and pleasure to have you come on the show today.
The pleasure is mine.
Thank you so much, sir. It's all right. Without wasting much time, maybe I should start by helping our audience to know you a little bit. Who exactly, or maybe you want to tell us a little bit about your background that is not captured here. Who exactly is Dr. Emmanuel Johnson?
Emmanuel Ishi Johnson is first and foremost a strong believer in God.
That right?
An ardent follower and disciple of Pastor Enoch Adejara Adeboye.
Good.
I am from Delta State, but I've lived in Lagos all of my life.
so you're partly Delta Lagosian.
Exactly. So I am a political analyst, an observer of events, religious analyst, economics, and like you have said, practically I'm involved in investment consultancy. I'm also involved in property and then in security, installation of gadgets and all those advanced security techniques.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's beautiful to have. Okay. Aside from all of this that you said, let me drag you a little bit into what is happening in the political terrain. Since you're an analyst, maybe you give us a better view. I'd like for us to quickly react with I think maybe I should pick one of the activities that has been in air and that seems to generate so much controversy in the nation Nigeria, which we'll now be talking about the squabble between two senators, the apex man and somebody on the floor. So much has been said, so much has been done. How would you react? Looking at that case, do you think there's actually a case in all of this allegation back and forth?
Like you said, it's still an allegation.
Right.
An allegation remains an allegation until it has been proved. And then if it's proved, it's only the judiciary that has the capacity, that are competent to pronounce the Senate President guilty or not guilty. So it will be subjudicial for us to say whether it is right or wrong. An allegation remains an allegation. But I also understand that a formal petition has been written. I know the Senate is a very, established body, and they have their own mechanism to resolve issues amongst them. So I want to believe that the honorable senators, these are men of intellect, men of capacity, they are great lawyers, they're intelligent people. So I believe this is something they can handle within themselves. But let's hope it resolved among them.
Also, it's been said out there, let's say, rumors has it also that that she's actually filed, I don't know, has it been in court?
A petition.
Just within the House?
There's a petition in court.
Good.
And there's a petition within the Senate. But I want to believe that the leadership of the Senate is already, trying to put their house in order.
Okay.
That they are taking their internal mechanism to see how they can resolve. Because at the end of the day, this is something that will not speak well for any of us, whether you are in the Senate or out of the Senate.
And for both parties, I guess, because it's dragging so much attention, negative and positive, for
Unnecessary
both of them.
attention, yeah.
For both of them. So I want to believe, like you said, maybe the Senate will be able to find the wisdom to
Yeah, I'm confident about that.
not make it spill out of their confines. Now, you said only the court has the power to determine. That will bring me to ask another question quickly, because in those days they used to say that when we were growing up anyway, that whatever you do and however you go, the long arm of the law
We'll catch up with
with you. But before I go into other things, I just want to confirm from you as a legal practitioner and a doctor at that, is the arm of the law still long, or has it been adjusted? Because so many things are happening, especially in my country, Nigeria. So, do you think the arm of the law is still long enough to get people?
The arm of the law is long, and we know it has been getting people. But you know that there have been some aberration on how these things are done. We've seen certain issues die down without justice. But it will be unfair to blame the judiciary about this thing, because when the investigating authority are not able to gather enough investigation and prosecute their cases properly in the competent court, then the layman outside will look at it that, oh, probably the judge has taken money, the judge. But we must understand that the law is written just like the Bible. So whatever you are going to present, there are procedures, there are processes. If you don't follow those procedures right, and one of the challenges we have is that most of our security agencies, they are quick to go to the press, they are quick to arrest, they are quick to judge. But the right thing to do is to painstakingly gather evidence, prepare a watertight case, then before you present it to the court, because the court cannot do beyond what is presented before them. And if it is done shoddily, you don't expect the judge to concoct evidence from the air or concoct this thing. So the judge has to look at what is before him or her, and also bear in mind that the defendant or whoever, the respondent, also will have a lawyer who will also be speaking for him. And you know, in law, it is better for 10 criminals to go free than for one innocent person to be jailed for wrongly. So that is why the law is always reluctant.
Please, can you say that?
See, it is better for 10 criminals to go free than for one innocent person to be jailed wrongly.
If I would take you on that, permit me to cut you in. Now, if I would take you on that, that does not seem to play out in our recent day Nigeria, sir.
It depends on how you look at it.
Okay. Because we are on this platform, I may not be able to give names.
Okay.
But you will
well
agree
instances,
that there are instances where we have, and as I speak, permit me to paint a scenario of what happened. Not at the legal, the court level yet. But I want to say some things that will give you an idea. You mentioned the security operatives having been too quick to arrest.
Prosecute.
Now that is also something I think, yes, it's an indictment, quote unquote, for the security operative, because it is one thing they do.
Not all of them.
What they do most of the time is that they just hear say, and then they come and arrest everybody on the street. And there was a scenario somewhere in Oshodi, and before this banned SARS, a guy was suspected to look like somebody else, and they came in by 2 a.m., shot in the air, made some noise. And funny enough, you know, when the economy was not as good as it is now, quote unquote, and we had like about maybe 7 boys in a small room living together in the shanties in Oshodi. And they arrested every single one of them, took them to their station, then followed upon investigation or sending a witness from the person who they are looking for. They now came and saw that, oh, this person actually looked like, but he's not the one we're looking for. Now, the law expects that such people should, first of all, be apologized to in the station, and a way of cleaning their honor, because everybody thought they were criminals. the enforcement agency were supposed to drive them to that same location where you arrested them and release them there, so that everybody will see that you took them out, you brought them in,
Exactly.
and it's okay, meaning there was nothing. And then if possible you have a conversation with anybody on the street, nothing happened, these guys were just wrongly taken, accused, or maybe mistaken for someone else. But to my surprise, these guys were asked to pay about, I can't remember, I think the figures were, it's still rumors though, figures were around 250,000 to build themselves.
Per person or for the...
I can't give that details now, but this happened in a place where I currently have a strong hold. I have a family member there who was reporting this. So it took like about a week for these guys to be able to negotiate and gather funds to build themselves out.
Okay.
So in that case, and I think I say that to bring you to the point that it is also likely possible that Nigerians, even cases where we ought to take it to the law or where we ought to take it to court, confidence has been dropped somewhere. And that's why I'm asking if the long arm of the law has been adjusted or if it's still functional
it is
at
still
the length
functional,
it's
it is
supposed to
still
be.
long, and it is still catching up with people. But if you observe carefully the scenario you painted, there was no time you mentioned that these people were taken to court.
True.
So I want to believe that whatever was done to them and with them was extrajudicial, which is a crime on its own. Because the law says that when you arrest a person, you must charge him or her to court within 24 hours. And if the place is so remote that there's no court, at least within 48 hours. So when you say people were detained for 7 days, and then eventually it was discovered that they were not the criminals, they were mistakenly arrested. I want to also believe that these people did not, get a lawyer for themselves. And that is one of the first things they should have done, because when you are arrested, you are given the opportunity to get a lawyer. And if you are indigent and you cannot afford a lawyer, the Office of the Public Defender can always give you a lawyer.
Now, please, let me stop you there. Sorry.
Okay.
You see that office of, I don't think Nigerians are aware there is a process, there is a provision. Now, I'm not saying there isn't, but I'm not sure Nigerians are aware there is that kind of platform. Yes, for those of us who watch foreign movies, we see that in the movies, we see how that the state provide for those who can't afford one for themselves. But now, before we even come to the technicality of that, but I think it will suffice to know, for Nigerians to know, that please walk us around that provision. Who are they? Where can we find them? How do we assess these people in a situation like this classic case I painted? If these guys had wanted to make a petition or maybe even file a case against the enforcement agency for being wrongly accused,
wrongly
character
detained,
defamed in that place, and then detained unlawfully for that long, how would they have gone about it?
They get a lawyer. They get a lawyer. Even our Lord Jesus Christ said, "My people perish for lack of knowledge."
Right.
So it is incumbent on you as a citizen, as an individual, at least to know the little privileges and rights that are available to you. But talking about the OPD, the Office of the Public Defender, I believe that in every magistrate court, in every high court within the nation, you will always be told, and some of them I think have their offices or representative in all these courts. And I know that when a person is accused and they say that the magistrate or the judge will say, okay, take him to the OPD. Let them give him a lawyer. And it's a very functional arm of the judiciary. They are doing their work. So if you are ignorant of their existence, then it is partly your problem. But like it is incumbent also on the police to have told them, if they say they didn't have a lawyer, that okay, you can avail yourself of the OPD, which I know some police stations do.
I think that is in a case where maybe two people have squabble, that the authorities, I don't want to mention name, the security agents can advise such. But when it has to do with you against them, I don't think they will want you to, even if you try to say, I will call my lawyer or something, because there are many cases that they drag you, even this common driving on the road and offenses, they drag you to their station and then, begin to give you some other, without giving you access to make a call or anything, you understand? So I'm thinking, because you are putting that blame now on the citizens.
Yes.
If you as a father have a provision for your child, take for instance, you have the school fees of your child, and the child looking at the way the house is and everything, maybe he's trying to even show you understanding, did not know that you have gotten a plan for him. How does he assess it? Now, I said that to bring it first on the place of the government,
dissemination of information.
the authority. These are things that even the people in the OPD ought to have been making a little noise or do something that will make people to know.
They do.
How?
They do. And then in the study of civics,
yeah.
in the high school and some other, secondary level, the OPD is also part of course, is mentioned. So the people are made to be aware that you are entitled to this privilege. And I know people are using it, probably because you are not conversant with the court environment. But then I want to correct an impression you created.
Okay.
You said that when you have individuals have case, then probably I want to believe you're talking about civil cases.
Yes.
Because every criminal case, if I fight with you now and injure you, it's a criminal case of assault.
Right.
Do you get me? It is between me and the commissioner of police. It's no longer your case. You cannot come in there as a nominal complainant.
Okay.
So when you say the case is between me and you, if it's a criminal case, it's no longer between me and you. It's either between me and the COP, between me and the IG, depending on or between me and the state.
Okay.
So it's a case taken over by government. So when you get to court and you see criminal cases, it's always captioned Commissioner of Police versus the accused. Exactly. So it's not that. And then when it comes to civil cases, the police have no business with it. So you defame me or I do business with you and you are trying to corner the money, I will file a case against you in the court. Yes, sometimes probably you suspect that that person might bolt, run away. Then you can now file a petition to the police, either the state CID or the commissioner or the zonal command or even there, so that their duty is to help apprehend that person and then bring him to court to face that charges so that your rights can be remedied. But if it's somebody, a civil case between me and you and a landlord-tenant issue, you go straight to court. So it is now between the complainant and the respondent. So the police has no business, and it's not the duty of the police to not tell you, oh, you are entitled. I believe the magistrate or the judge, as the case may be, will tell you of such privileges when you it's explained to them that you have no means of getting a lawyer. They won't even try the case until an OPD person comes assigned to you.
It's okay. I think that many Nigerians will be watching and please, you've heard it from a doctor in law, and then these are some of the things that we live. I'm not asking and advocating that we go about fighting and dragging ourselves to court, but there are issues that are genuine that really need to be addressed, not just for our sake alone, but to curb, prevent such occurrence or reoccurrence in the future, because when somebody does something and gets away with it, he thinks it's normal. And before you know what's going on, we have a lot of people doing that on the street. Let's not stay on that aspect. This is Christians in Politics, so we will still try to come back, if time permits us, a bit on that. Now, looking at Nigeria, sir, politically, how would you describe the nation?
Yeah, politically, you look at the nation, what is going on is not different from what is going on in other nations. Right. There is a form of economic depression, which is affecting how dividends of democracy is deployed across board. So naturally for us, we will look up to the leadership and say they are not doing well enough. Good. Yeah, I'm not saying they are perfect, but I want to believe that they are making reasonable effort to see that we cross this desert and get to where we want to get to. I think what we as Christians should focus on, like the Bible instructed us to pray for our leaders. It says, pray for your leaders so that you will dwell peaceably. You will be prosperous in the land. But the reverse has been the case. Yeah, we are bitter. It's natural for people. We curse our leaders. We wish they die. We wish they don't survive. And that is not the right thing, because probably those causes are also part of what is affecting. I know when you strike the head,
It affects.
it affects the body.
Yeah,
So
body.
I think we should change the dynamics.
But,
Let us begin to
again,
pray
as
for them.
Africans, precisely, taking the case of Nigeria,
Yeah.
we've been accused of overpraying. And it seems like, I would say, if judging by the way the world see the church, it seems like the more we pray, the harder things become. Democracy has been in Nigeria for some years
For
uninterrupted
just
now.
65 years. Okay, for
The democracy.
26 years.
Yes, now 26 years uninterrupted, and it seems as though the first few years
We're better.
were relatively economically for the individual person and family better than it is now. And I know that when we got democracy, we celebrated, but after then, prayers began to be made intentionally by churches, by Christian bodies, for the nation and for the leaders. So what do you think it's a function of prayer still, or there's something actually we're not getting right? Because I'm trying to get that balance.
Okay, two key things I want to point out here. You said we are praying too much. I want to tell you that the Christians are the people that pray less in all religion that I know. The Jews pray 3 times a day. Consistently. That is, it is like mandatory. The Muslims pray 5 times a day. We live with them. We see them wake up as early as 6 a.m. They pray, and there's a level of compulsion. The Christians just pray. What is your prayer time? No. Also, when you meet a challenge, you just fire brigade, you start praying, and once that challenge, you go to sleep. So anybody telling you that Christians are praying too much is not being honest with the situation. The Christians pray far less, and there's nothing like over praying. It's like telling me that you are acquiring too much knowledge. There's no too much knowledge. You keep learning so that you don't die. So if you want to live, you pray. And if your situation is bad, what else do you do? Pray. Pray until something happens. Nothing has happened, and we are feeling we are praying too much. No, we are not. We are not. Look at the General Overseer, 83 years old man. See how he prays. How many of us can honestly say we pray like that?
I was even to come to that, because recently we've had the trending issues about his call for this 100-day fast and all that and all that. And you recall, for those of us who are inside, you recall that the strategy of praying, the first part was 100% concentrated on the nation.
30 whole days, which is 30% of the entire prayer.
The nation.
That's the second part I'm going to. We feel that the prayers are not making impact. That's another lie from the pit of hell. Let us look elsewhere. In some other countries, they have wars today. They have natural disaster. They have terrible things happening. But regardless of the challenges in Nigeria, you and I still go about freely. Like, I traveled to a foreign country, and then somebody was saying, I learned they are killing people in Nigeria. Nobody is safe. I told her that, look, I came from Nigeria and I've not been killed. And I want to tell you that I've not seen somebody who was killed. And I move around quite well. I can tell you that my daughter, who is 21 years now, has never seen some. Yeah, we hear it.
Yeah.
So it depends on the environment. We still have places that are very safe. We still have environment that are very safe. And the past maybe 15, 20 years, I've not seen that, a house within my neighborhood was boggled or armed robbers came in. That does not mean it's not happening. But compared to the population of about 220 million people, you look at the challenges that are happening, because the theory is that wherever you have human people living, there's always 5% who, whether the economy is fine or not, will be bent on doing evil. It's in their nature. And then there will be another 5% and then depending on who is calling the shots. So if we have 220 million people, you look at percentage of about, say, 12 million people will be doing crime, statistically. And that is huge, because you go to Benin Republic, their population is not up to that.
Yeah.
Exactly. But if you put in ratio, you will see that the crime level in some of these places is higher than us. And then we run to Western countries. They also have their challenges. Security-wise, economy-wise, there are homeless people in some of these countries, more in ratio and proportion to what we have here.
It's okay. For want of time, I'll take a pause from that and have you touch on something very well. In introducing yourself, you started by saying you are a believer. Now,
A staunch believer.
good. I like that. Thank you. And I want to say there's been this contention because this is Christians in politics. It's important we establish that so we know what we're doing sometimes. So we give people an idea of what we stand for. Would you say that a Christian is actually supposed to be in politics?
Absolutely. A Christian ought to be political. We are political animals. You see, I was going to come to that. You see, we sit down cozy in our houses, in the comfort of our home, and blame those who have taken the risk, hazarded outside to do the thing. We only see what they are not doing right. When they call for voting, most of us don't come out. So we sit down and say, God, here am I, send them. And then they go out there, they are doing it, and we say they are not doing right. Christians ought to practically participate in how the governance of the environment, whether it is within an estate, within a local government, because the Bible says, when the righteous rule, the people rejoice. And when the wicked rule, the people mourn. So if we allow the wicked to rule, then we should not blame them when we mourn.
Permit me to cut you there. For want of time, will be maybe we might continue. Please, we'll politely ask that. Please, you come back again next week. We'll love to have you because there's so much. You see where we're dropping now. I'd like for us to pick up that conversation from there the next time you're here, so that there's so much to be explored that we need to talk about in that, because you've also said something that's key, that we don't do our civic responsibilities, which is now giving room to the complaints we're already experiencing. However, maybe when we return, we would touch on that. Thank you so very much for your time.
Thank you.
Also, I would like to ask, is there any place or platform where people can connect with you? Are you on any social media or any thing people, maybe somebody watching
I'm on LinkedIn.
LinkedIn, okay. So what's the handle? What's the
Emmanuel Johnson.
Emmanuel Johnson on LinkedIn. It's okay. So please, if you want to connect with him, Mr. Dr. Emmanuel, you can always reach him on LinkedIn. Thank you so very much. This has been a wonderful time on Christians in Politics. And I am yours, William Stilohu, signing out. We'll be back again, same time next week with another exciting episode. Stay blessed.